What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 152 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my dining room, and today I'm giving you all the Week 15 recap around the NFL. A lot of great games, a lot of comebacks, a lot of upsets, a lot of blown leads, and questionable plays. So let's get into it. We'll start last Thursday's game. The Niners beat the Seahawks 21-13. The rookie Brock Purdy, 217 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interception. Christian McCaffrey, 108 rushing and a touchdown. George Kittle, the tight end, 4 catches, 93 yards, and 2 scores. As for Geno Smith of the Seahawks, 238 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. And Tyler Lockett, 7 catches for 68 yards. So the Niners sweep their division rival to pick up their 7th straight win, and they go to 10-4 on the season. The Niners were able to clinch the NFC West title with this win. And Brock Purdy, he continues to impress us all. The Niners' run game continues to impress us all as they had 170 yards, and the Niners' defense still looking elite as ever with 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and didn't allow the Seahawks offense to get going. And speaking of the Seahawks offense, they struggled yet again. They were held to just 70 yards rushing all night, and Geno Smith was pressured to death. Seahawks are now 1-4 in their last 5 games, and it's not looking good for their playoff chances as they go to 7-7. As for the Saturday games, the Vikings beat the Colts 39-36 in overtime. Kirk Cousins, 460 passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Dalvin Cook, 95 rushing yards. He also had 4 catches for 95 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. KJ Osborne had 10 grabs for 157 and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 12 catches for 123 and a touchdown, and Adam Thielen had a touchdown catch. As for Matt Ryan and the Colts, 182 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions, and Michael Pittman Jr., 10 catches for 60 yards. So the Vikings go to 11-3 after a crazy overtime win, and they complete the largest comeback in NFL history. They were down 33-0 with the Colts, leading at halftime, and in the first half for the Vikings, nothing went their way. Everything went wrong for them, such as a blocked punt for a touchdown, Dalvin Cook fumble, which led to a touchdown, a failed 4th down try, which led to a field goal, a failed fake punt that led to a field goal, and then a Kirk Cousins pick 6. And it looked like the game was completely over, but the Vikings never gave up. They were able to perform under this pressure and now perform the greatest comeback in NFL history. And with that win, they clinched the NFC North title for this season. And as for the Colts, in the second half, they just seemed to play too comfortable, too conservative. And Matt Ryan, you got to feel bad for that guy. He blew 2 crazy leads. One was the 28-3 5 years ago in the Super Bowl, and now it's 33-0 in this game. The Colts are now 4 wins, 9 losses, and a tie on the season. The next Saturday game we have here is the Browns beating the Ravens 13-3. Deshaun Watson, 161 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. Nick Chubb, 99 rushing yards, and Donovan Peoples-Jones with a touchdown catch. Tyler Huntley of the Ravens, 138 passing, no touchdowns and interception, and J.K. Dobbins had 125 rushing yards. So the Browns get revenge on their divisional rival and go to 6-8. The Browns rush for 143 on the ground and avoid turning the ball over on offense. The Browns defense also had 3 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble. And although the Ravens ran for 198, their pass game was absolutely abysmal. An interception in the red zone, a forced fumble, a missed Justin Tucker field goal. It really hurt the Ravens' chances to win, and they are now 9-5. Next, the Bills beat the Dolphins 32-29. Josh Allen, 304 passing, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He also had 77 rushing yards and a fumble. Tight end Dawson Knox, 6 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. As for Tua Tagovailoa, 234 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Raheem Mostert, 136 rushing. Jalen Waddle, 3 catches for $114 and a touchdown. And Tyreek Hill, 9 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown. So the Bills, they go to 11-3 after beating their divisional rival and now won 5 straight games. And this was just a great back-and-forth game. The Dolphins would get points. The Bills would respond and get their own points. And when the Bills would get points, the Dolphins would respond with their own points. It was just a crazy game. Even the Bills fans were throwing snowballs at Dolphins players. That's how wild this game was. The Bills were able to get the job done, though, with 454 offensive yards, with 130 of them being on the ground. And they were down 29-21 in the fourth quarter, and Josh Allen is able to lead a touchdown drive, leaps into the end zone for the 2-point conversion to tie it at 29 apiece. Josh Allen gets the ball with just a few minutes to go. He drives downfield, which sets up the game-winning field goal as time expires. And the Dolphins really showed heart out there. A lot of people thought they were going to get blown out because they're a warm city team playing in a cold city. The Dolphins offense had 422 total yards and finally got the running game going with 188 yards. Unfortunately, the Dolphins lost this game. They now lost 3 straight as they go to 8-6. Next, we have the Sunday games. We have the Eagles beating the Bears 25-20. Jalen Hurts, 315 passing, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 3 rushing touchdowns. A.J. Brown, 9 catches for 181. Devontae Smith, 5 catches for 126. As for Justin Fields of the Bears, 152 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 95 rushing yards. David Montgomery had a rushing and receiving touchdown on the afternoon. So the Eagles moved to 13-1 after this win. Jalen Hurts struggled early with 2 interceptions, but in the second half he picked it up, especially running the ball with 3 rushing touchdowns. And the Eagles offense got it going with 427 total yards. Eagles defense, 6 sacks and a forced fumble. And the Bears could have won this game, but they let it slip away from them. They ran for $157 on the ground, and they forced 3 turnovers but couldn't cash in the end zone. The Bears are now 3-11 and have lost 7 straight games, and they're booted from the playoffs. Next, the Lions beat the Jets 20-17. Jared Goff, 252 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 catches for 76 yards. As for Zach Wilson, 317 passing, 2 touchdowns and an interception. And tight end C.J. Uzomah had 2 touchdown catches. So the Lions get a big win on the road to go to 7-7 and now won 6 of their last 7 games. The Lions offense got it done with 359 total yards, 107 rushing yards, and they didn't turn the ball over. Lions defense has been playing much better as they recorded 4 sacks and 1 interception. And the Lions special teams even showed up this day as they had a punt return touchdown score. The Lions got a big touchdown pass late to win the game. On 4th and inches, they went for it and they converted, and that's what pretty much won them the game. As for Zach Wilson, he returns for the injured Mike White, and he didn't do his best job. Then again, his running game only had 50 yards on the day, and his defense didn't even get a sack or a turnover against this Lions offense. Jets are now 7-7. They lost 3 straight games, and their playoff chances are looking slim now. Next, Steelers beat the Panthers 24-16. Mitch Trubisky, 179 passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. Najee Harris, 86 rushing yards and a touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 10 catches for 98 yards. As for Sam Darnold of the Panthers, 225 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. DJ Moore, 5 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. So the Steelers moved to 6-8. Trubisky and the offense did a good job of not turning the ball over. The rushing attack was just on point. They had 156 yards on the ground and 3 total rushing touchdowns, and the Steelers' defense was able to get 4 sacks, and they stopped the Carolina Panthers' run. And Sam Darnold and the Panthers' offense, they didn't turn the ball over. However, that run game was disgusting with just 21 yards on the ground. The Panthers usually win due to their run game, but 21 yards isn't going to really win you games. Panthers are now 5-9. Next, the Chiefs beat the Texans in overtime, 30-24. Pat Mahomes, 336 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. Jerick McKinnon, 52 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. He also had 8 catches for 70 yards and a receiving touchdown. Tight end Travis Kelce, 10 catches for 105. Receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, 10 catches, 88 yards, and a fumble. As for Davis Mills of the Texans, 121 passing, 2 touchdowns, no touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a rushing touchdown, and a fumble. Tight end Jordan Akins had a touchdown catch, and the Chiefs win a very close one on the road to go to 11-3. The Chiefs are able to clinch the AFC West title. This is their 7th straight AFC West title in a row. The Chiefs made mistakes in this game, such as a missed field goal, 2 fumbles, which led to 14 Texan points, but the Chiefs were able to overcome all those miscues. They had 525 yards of offense with 189 of those coming on the ground. And this is the 2nd week in a row the Texans played 2 tough teams and almost won, but they couldn't seal the deal. The Texans offense scored 14 points off 2 Chief turnovers, but besides that, their offense only had 223 yards. The biggest play of the game was in overtime. Davis Mills fumbles the ball, which led to the game-winning touchdown for the Chiefs. And because of that, the Texans now have 1 win, 12 losses, and 1 tie on the season, and lost 9 straight games. Next is the Saints beating the Falcons 21-18. Andy Dalton, 151 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Taysom Hill had a touchdown pass, and the tight end Jawan Johnson had 2 touchdown catches on the day. As for the rookie Desmond Ridder, 97 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and the rookie Tyler Algier, 139 rushing yards and a touchdown. So the Saints sweep their divisional rival on the season and go to 5-9. The Saints offense were able to create big plays, and they were able to run the ball really well, and the Falcons had a chance in this game as they rushed for 238 yards, but the rookie quarterback Desmond Ridder making his first start in the NFL. Really struggled passing that ball against the Saints defense. The Falcons defense got 4 sacks and a forced fumble, but the offense couldn't really help them. The Falcons now lost 3 straight and they go to 5-9. Next, the Jaguars beat my Cowboys 40-34 in overtime. Trevor Lawrence, 318 passing, 4 touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble. Travis Etienne, 103 rushing yards and a fumble. Zay Jones, 6 catches for 109 and 3 touchdowns. Dak Prescott, 256 passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches for 126, and Noah Brown, 6 catches, 49 yards for 2 scores. So the Jags moved to 6-8 with a big comeback win to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Cowboys were up 27-10 at one point, but the Jags didn't panic. And besides the 2 turnovers Trevor Lawrence had, he played really great football. He's getting better each and every week. Really looking like that number 1 overall pick last year. And the Jags offense had 510 total yards with 192 of them coming on the ground. The Jaguars defense stepped up with 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 1 was a pick 6 that ended the game in overtime. The second time this season, the Cowboys lose in overtime with a 14 or more point lead. The Cowboys had this game in the bag, but they blew it big time. After the Jags scored to make it 27-17, Dak Prescott is sacked and throws a reckless interception in his own territory, which is leading to a Jags touchdown. And the Jaguars had all the momentum at that point. The game just completely flipped. Another boneheaded move was the Cowboys were up 34-31 with just a little less than 2 minutes left in the game. And it's 3rd and 10. Jaguars have 1 timeout left. They decide to throw a bomb down the field, which is an incompletion, instead of at least running the ball and making the Jaguars use their final timeout. I don't know what Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy were thinking, and Dak Prescott has to relax with the interceptions. He's been throwing a lot lately, but the pick 6 was not his fault. It did bounce off his receiver's hands. His receiver should have got that, and the defense needs to step up too. This whole season, they've been doing great, and in the last few weeks, they've been really suspect. And this guy, Kelvin Joseph on the Cowboys, cornerback, he's absolute trash. If I were the Cowboys, I'd cut him right away. He's giving up big plays. He just looks completely lost out there. Cowboys are now 10-4 on the season. Next game is the Broncos beating the Cardinals 24-15. Brett Rippon, 197 passing, a touchdown, interception, and a fumble. Latavius Murray, 130 rushing and a touchdown, and Jerry Jeudy, 7 catches for 76 yards. Colt McCoy, 78 passing yards, no touchdowns and interceptions. Trace McSorley came in for him, which he passed for 95 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks. James Conner had a rushing touchdown. So the Broncos are able to snap their 5-game losing streak and go to 4-10. And Brett Rippon got the start over Russell Wilson. And although he didn't look that good, the Broncos offense still ran for 168 yards, and the Broncos defense had themselves a day with 3 sacks and 3 interceptions. And as for the Cardinals, their offense continues to struggle as both QBs combined for 3 picks. The Cardinals offense only had 246 yards. And with this loss, the Cardinals are eliminated from the playoffs. They've lost 4 straight games and are now 4-10 on the season. Next, the Raiders beat the Patriots 32-24. Derek Carr, 231 passing, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Keelan Cole had a touchdown catch, and Darren Waller had a touchdown catch. As for Mac Jones, 112 passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and Ramondre Stevenson ran for 172 and a touchdown. So the Raiders win an absolute wild game to go to 6-8 on the season. The Raiders had an early 17-3 lead until Derek Carr throws a pick 6, and then the Patriots went on a 21-0 run to make it 24-17. And every Raiders fan out there is probably thinking, oh no, not again, that we blow another double-digit lead. But with under a minute left, Derek Carr puts the team on his back and gets the game-tying touchdown. And then with seconds left in the game, the Patriots have the ball. They hand it to Ramondre Stevenson. He gets a big gain up the middle. The clock hits 0. He pitches it back to receiver Jacoby Meyer, and Jacoby Meyer just does this stupid throw back to Mac Jones, and Mac Jones really wasn't expecting it. And he threw it to the wrong Jones because he threw it to defensive end on the Raiders, Chandler Jones, who gets the ball and he runs it back for a touchdown with no time on the clock. And that's how the Raiders win. It was the weirdest way that I've ever seen a team lose a game. Jacoby Myers should have just ran out of bounds and just lived to see overtime. But with that loss, the Patriots are 7-7. Next game we got here is the Chargers beating the Titans 17-14. Justin Herbert, 313 passing, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Austin Eckler had a rushing touchdown. And as for Ryan Tannehill, he threw for 165, no touchdowns, an interception, and a rushing touchdown. But he did leave the game with a foot injury. Derrick Henry ran for 104 and a touchdown. So the Chargers get a win to go to 8-6. Justin Herbert really struggled this game, but he had a beautiful sideline pass to Mike Williams, which set up the game-winning field goal late in the game. And the Titans just continue to struggle on offense and defense. Outside of Derrick Henry, this team can't get much offensive firepower at all. The Titans now lost 4 straight games, and they go to 7-7. Next, the Bengals beat the Bucs 34-23. Joe Burrow, 200 passing, 4 touchdowns and an interception. Jamar Chase, 7 catches, 60 yards and a touchdown. And as for Tom Brady of the Bucs, 312 passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumbles. Chris Godwin had 8 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. So the Bengals get a comeback win to go to 10-4 on the season, now won 6 straight games. And the Bengals were down 17-0 early till their defense really stepped up. They forced 4 turnovers, and the Bengals offense was able to capitalize off all of those with touchdowns of their own. And in the second half, the Bengals were outscoring the Bucs 31-6. The Bucs blew a 17-0 lead and really should have won this game, but 4 turnovers by Tom Brady costed them big time. And you can't have 4 turnovers against a red-hot Bengals team and expect to win. The Bucs are now 6-8. Next game, the Giants beat the Commanders 20-12. Daniel Jones, 160 passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Saquon Barkley, 87 rushing yards and a touchdown. And as for Taylor Heineke of the Washington Commanders, he had 249 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions, and 2 fumbles. And the rookie John Adonson had 4 catches for 103 and a touchdown. So the Giants beat their divisional rival, and they now have 8 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie on the season to keep their playoff hopes alive. And the offense didn't turn the ball over, and the defense really stepped up. They had 2 forced fumbles, which one was ran back for a touchdown, and a huge goal line stop at the end of the game. It was 4th down at the 1-yard line. They got to stop to win it. The Giants really needed this. And as for Washington, they had a chance to win, but they couldn't overcome those 2 fumbles. Taylor Heineke had a really bad game, and because of that, the Commanders now have 7 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie on the season. The final game is the Monday game. The Packers beat the Rams 24-12. Aaron Rodgers, 229 passing, a touchdown and an interception. Aaron Jones, 90 rushing yards, a receiving touchdown, and a fumble. And as for A.J. Dillon, 2 rushing touchdowns on the night. Baker Mayfield of the Rams, 111 passing, a touchdown, and an interception. And Tyler Higbee, the tight end, had a touchdown catch. So the Packers go to 6-8 with the win on Monday night. The Packers offense had 367 total yards, with 138 of them coming on the ground. And the Packers defense had 5 sacks and 1 interception. And Baker and the Rams offense, they had a really rough night with just 183 total yards. They couldn't pass or run the ball. And the Rams are now eliminated from the playoffs. It's just crazy. Last year, they won the Super Bowl. To this year, they didn't even sniff the playoffs. The Rams are now 4-10 on the season. So that's it for my Week 15 recap around the NFL. Thank you all for watching. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on my Instagram. Take care. Have a wonderful day.